Hello everybody, welcome back to this series that I'm doing. I'm Dr. Robin Kelly. I'm a family doctor and I have a particular concern about the potential rollout of 5G technology without adequate health safety testing. I'm approaching this from the perspective of a general practitioner. Now, this last week or so, a good scientist friend of mine sent to me a review paper from the Ukraine, which basically firmly challenges the perception that the only problem with this new 5G technology, or indeed existing technologies, the only problem that we could face are what we call the thermal effects, the heating effects of to the body. And my concern is that the advisory boards and committees, both internationally and here in New Zealand, don't include the scientists who know about this, who know about the biophysicists, the microbiologists, the molecular biologists, the experts in the field, who seem to be in agreement. Now, the importance of this paper that I have here is that it's a review paper, reviewing 100 studies which show that indeed there are effects on the body from radio frequency, from low intensity radio frequency radiation, as they call it, RFR if I refer to that. And this causes what we call an oxidation within the cells, which can lead to damage to DNA and changes into the activity of antioxidant enzymes and the buildup of free radicals. And this is a pathogenesis, or something that's bad, basically, that can lead not only to cancer but to many other conditions. So this is a very important review paper, and I hope I pronounce his name properly, from Igor Yakimenko and a group of researchers from the Institute of Experimental Pathology, Oncology and Radiobiology in Ukraine, the Department of Biophysics in a university in Ukraine, but also supported by the School of Public and Environmental Affairs in Indiana University in Bloomington in Indiana, the University of Eastern Finland, and the Department of Structural and Functional Biology in Brazil, the University of Campinas. So with that background, I will read the abstract, and I know it's a bit jargonized, but it's really important that we know the level of research that's been done. And I hope that, in fact, this is accessible to you all. I'm sure you're all very smart, so I suspect it will be. This was actually published in a journal called Electromagnetic Biology and Medicine, and it was published in July 2015. So it's been around for 4 years. So there really aren't any excuses for people not to have seen this. So the abstract is this. This review aims to cover experimental data on oxidative effects of low intensity radio frequency radiation, with the acronym RFR, in living cells. Analysis of the currently available peer-reviewed scientific literature reveals molecular effects induced by low intensity RFR in living cells. That's what we've got around us at the moment. This includes significant activation of key pathways generating reactive oxygen species, ROS, activation of peroxidation, oxidative damage of DNA, and changes in the activity of antioxidant enzymes. It indicates that among 100 currently available peer-reviewed studies dealing with the oxidative effects of low intensity RFR, in general, 93 confirmed that RFR induces oxidative effects in biological systems. a wide pathogenic potential of the induced ROS, which is the reactive oxygen species, and their involvement in cell signaling pathways explains a range of biological or health effects of low-intensity RFR, which include both cancer and non-cancer pathologies. In conclusion, our analysis demonstrates that low-intensity RFR is an expressive oxidative agent for living cells with a high pathogenic potential, and that the oxidative stress induced by RFR exposure should be recognized as one of the primary mechanisms of the biological activity of this kind of radiation. And I won't obviously go through the text, which is very well written. However, I will quote this. All above mentioned studies dealt with the effects of low intensity radio frequency radiation. This means that the intensity of the radiation was far below observable thermal effects, below observable thermal effects in biological tissues, and far below safety limits of the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection, which is ICNIRP, which is the international governing body examining this. Now, this paper quotes 100 studies, but it also has about 200 references, which here I see in detail. Now, I thought I'd then refer back to the report from our New Zealand Interagency Committee on the Health Effects of Non-Ionising Fields and the report to the Minister. And first off, I wanted to check their own references, which there are many, but I wondered if any of these studies were quoted. And I looked at this yesterday and I searched and I couldn't find one. I certainly couldn't find any reference to this review in 2015. And in some ways it doesn't surprise me, because it appears that in ICNIRP and the World Health Organization and our committee, there are no specialist scientists. There are no, as I say, biophysicists or molecular biologists. There are what we call epidemiologists, so a lot of their references are about epidemiology, but not about actually how these rays will affect our bodies on a cellular and molecular level. So I found that rather distressing, and I think not only an omission, but a dangerous omission. In the appendix of this 87 committee report, 87-page committee report, page 53, they list the common concerns about the New Zealand standard for radiofrequency field exposure. So in other words, this is sort of frequently asked questions sort of stuff. And one of the answering concerns. So one of the concerns, and it is from us, that the standard only considers thermal effects, and this is how they answer those concerns. The ICNIRP limits used in the standard are based on a review of all relevant research on health effects, regardless of the mechanism that might be involved. Now, I'm questioning that, and I think you all should. ICNIRP and other expert panels that have reviewed the data find that the only effects that show up with any clarity are consistent with the effects of heat stress and occur at exposure levels at which absorption of RF energy in the body as heat exceeds the body's ability to dissipate that heat. Exposures below ICNIRP limits would prevent these effects. We've seen that queried. Most of the research conducted over the past 30 years has used exposures that are at or below the ICNIRP limits, but no consistently reproducible or persuasive evidence of health effects from any cause has been found. In summary, the standard takes into account the possibility of health effects from any cause, but thermal effects are the only ones for which research has found clear evidence. Well, I'll let you make your own mind up about that. As I say, I'm just a GP. I say just a GP. GPs are amazing doctors. I'm a GP, but I am researching this in my spare time. I'm not part of the committee. And this is information that we have easily accessed, and my scientist friends have as well. So I'm very concerned. I'm even more concerned. Do they know this? Is there a cover-up? Are they just ignorant to it? And why aren't the ministers answering our questions about this? All the best. Do your best to spread this around, please. And I'll see you very soon. Bye.